Chapter 4 The Stolen Car. A few months has passed since the pot plant incident. Everything seems to be back to normal. Frank is working as hard as ever and staying with me on the weekends. His mom and stepdad are doing well. Frank called me and asked me if I would like to go to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants. I said sure. And then Frank said, "Put on your most beautiful gown, and I will pick you up around 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Marie, my baby. I'll see you tomorrow, Frankie." About 8 p.m. the next day, Frank came to pick me up. He parked the car and came in to wait for me to finish getting ready. Frank said, "Let's go." I said, "Hold your horses. I will be ready in a few minutes." Finally, we left. And when we got outside, I said to Frank, "Where'd you park the car?" He said, "Right there in that empty space." I said, "Frank, you mean someone stole your car?" He said, "You got that right." We went back inside, and Frank called the police and reported the car theft. Then Frank turned to me and said, "How about trying this again in a couple of days at about the same time?" I said, "Sure. I will get another car by then." So a couple of days had passed, and Frank came to pick me up. This time I was ready. When we got outside, Frank said he had a surprise for me. I said, "Frank, there's your car. How did you get it back?" "I didn't. I got another one from the same dealer. Except this one is better. It has air conditioning." Frank said, "Let's go." As we were pulling out, Frank yelled out, "Marie, there's my other car." He chased after it and caught up with it about 8 blocks away. Frank called the police, and they caught the guy. There was a newspaper reporter on the scene, and he wrote what happened. It was in the newspaper. I am going to highlight this article, which will help me explain this part of the story better. My interpretation is as follows. This reporter was a witness to Frank's stolen car. He said that he was passing by at the same time that the cops were coaching this guy out of Frank's stolen car. No fuss, no busted heads, and no guns drawn. This old guy had a story. He told the cops that he was drinking in the bar across the street when a man came in and offered to sell him a car. Cops checked out the bar. The guy who tried to sell Frank's car to the old guy made it out the back door. This old guy looked so harmless, with stooped shoulders, thinning hair, glasses, and he was well dressed, which made his story easy to believe. The reporter then says, "You have cop cars pulling up to block the stolen car, and the old guy who looks like a bank clerk sitting behind the wheel, and Frank walking back and forth on the sidewalk saying excitedly over and over, 'That's my car.' The stolen car was the identical twin of the car that Frank had just gotten out of." This reporter went on to say that in the 2 days since the car was stolen, Frank had gone out, bought another car exactly like the stolen one. Frank was in his new car when he spotted the old one. And now his two cars were parked just a few spaces apart. Frank loved his old car so much that he went out and bought an identical twin. The reporter then writes that there was a point in the drama that he decided that it was all over. The owner had his car back, the car thief had gotten away, and the old guy was in the clear. Luckily, the cops kept their hands on the old guy. They took him in for checking, and his story fell apart. Frank contacted the reporter and filled him in on some details about the stolen car incident. Frank told the reporter that he wasn't fooled by the New York license plate that was put on his car after it was stolen. "I knew my car," Frank said, "and I loved my car." The new car that Frank had rushed out to buy was identical to the old one, down to the 100,000 miles plus that both had on their speedometers. The wind-up is that Frank got his old car back, and he sold it to the same dealer that he bought the twin from. This reporter closes the article by saying that 10 days later, the old guy was arrested again and charged with stealing another car. Next is what happened when Frank sold the stolen car back to the dealer. Frank asked me, "Do you know how to drive?" I said, "Yes." So Frank drove the stolen car to the dealer, and this author followed him in the identical twin. After the transaction was completed, I drove Frank home, and he told me to be ready at 8 p.m. the next day to go out on the town. Frank picked me up at my apartment at 8 p.m. sharp. We went to our favorite restaurant. After we finished our meal, Frank told me to close my eyes and put out my hand, and on my finger he placed a real diamond wedding band. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't believe what I saw. A wedding band with a large diamond in the center, about the size of a quarter. I asked Frank, "Is that a real diamond?" And Frank said, "You got that right." I couldn't believe it. I asked him, "How did you know my ring size?" Frank told me that when he bought the real diamond, he told the jeweler to make it the size that he makes the most. Frank then said, "Marie, I know now that you are the girl of my dreams because the ring fits you perfect." I told Frank I want to wear it all the time. I love it so much. But Frank said it's not going to be safe to do that. This will have to be kept in a safe deposit box because of its value. I asked Frank, "How many carats does this wedding band have?" He whispered in my ear, $20,000 worth of carats. I asked Frank, where did he get the money to pay for it? He told me that it took him 3 years to save the money, and we cannot tell anybody about the real diamond. It has to be our secret. I told Frank I want to wear it. He told me that he has a way that I could wear it. He said that he was going to go back to the jeweler and have him make the same wedding band in the same size with a fake diamond. We left the restaurant and went back to my apartment and went to bed. Frank put the real diamond away until the fake diamond was ready. When it was finished, he brought it to me, and I tried it on, and it fit perfect. It was identical to the real one. I asked Frank, how are we going to tell them apart? Frank said, a real diamond can cut glass, a fake diamond can't because it's made of glass. In my heart, I knew that Frank really loved me, and he wanted to make me happy. Frank put the real diamond in the safe deposit box and told me that what bank and gave me the key. Frank told me that if we ever needed money, we can use the real diamond to help us out. I asked Frank, did you ever think about writing a song about the real diamond? Frank said yes, and he already had the lyrics completed and was going to send it out to George Liberace in California to do the music in rock style. I couldn't wait to hear it. Frank told me that he would bring it over the demo as soon as it was done. In a few weeks, the demo arrived. When Frank played the song for me, I was surprised how Frank made the lyrics tell the story, how we went to dinner at our favorite restaurant, and how he gave me the wedding band. The lyrics for Real Diamond is as follows. Real Diamond by the unknown songwriter. If I had a real diamond, I'd be rich as I could be. But if I had your love, that would be enough for me. Whenever I look at you, your eyes sparkle like a star. It lets me see you, whether near or far. A real diamond may go from hand to hand, but the love that I have for you would be the same in any land. Put on your most beautiful gown, because we're going out on the town. You deserve the best, and that's why I want to take you to dinner as my guest. A real diamond may go from hand to hand, but the love that I have for you would be the same in any land. Now that we've finished our meal, I would like to show you the way I feel. Close your eyes and put out your hand. On your finger I will place a wedding band. A real diamond may go from hand to hand, but the love that I have for you would be the same in any land. I can tell by the expression on your face that this was the right time and the right place. This means that we can start a new life as Mr. and Mrs. or man and wife. A real diamond may go from hand to hand, but the love I have for you would be the same in any land.